For those of you that have watched me for a while, you know I've referenced it a lot, how quarterback is the most important position in North American professional sports. It is more important than any other position. Doesn't matter if you want to say, in baseball, you want to talk about the shortstop or the pitcher or the catcher. Those are important, but they're not the quarterback. Hockey, the goalie is not more important than the quarterback, arguable against a wall. Basketball, point guard, no. Like, quarterback is the most important position in North American professional sports, period. So you can understand why a lot of teams are always desperately trying to locate one, look for one, find one. And especially in the landscape of the financial climate and salary cap of today's NFL, teams want to get that quarterback through the draft, develop him, so that way they can save themselves some money the first couple of years, because they know after that, the money's going to explode, and these guys are going to get paid. And it's a good problem to have. Like, if you've drafted a quarterback high, and he's in a position where you can feel comfortable about giving him a long-term major contract extension, then it's all good anyways, you know what I mean? So, drafting and developing a guy is important. And for the Arizona Cardinals, you got to give credit where credit's due. Like, they took a tremendous risk when they drafted Kyler Murray, number 1 overall. Not a lot of teams would have had the guts to say, hey, we were idiots. Josh Rosen is not the chosen one. He sucks. And we're going to move on from him a year later. Now, you could say, well, he wasn't given much of a chance and he had a bad situation. I totally agree with all that. But the reality is you didn't really see much of any flashes out of Josh Rosen that indicated he was going to be the dude. So Steve Keim maybe went on drinking better. I don't know. But bottom line was, he said, we've got the number 1 overall pick here in 2019, and we got a quarterback we really like. We got to move on from this Rosen thing now. We got to cut our losses and go get Kyler Murray. And they did. And that's a risky thing. It's a bit of kind of just resetting after 1 year, not an ideal situation, but you could argue to a certain degree at least that Kyler Murray has panned out for the Arizona Cardinals. Is he elite guy? No. Is he above average? Certainly. Like, to me, he probably fits somewhere in like the 10 to 14 category in terms of NFL quarterbacks. Might be on the lower scale of that 12, 13, 14, but certainly doesn't make the Cardinals look bad for choosing him number 1 overall in 2019 and moving on from Rosen after 1 year. So it's not a surprise that the Cardinals were in a position where they said, we've got to extend Kyler Murray, because you could tell Kyler Murray was, acting like somebody as an athlete that wanted to get paid. And young man got paid. Get paid, dude. Get paid when you can. Fuck 'em. Get your money. And Kyler Murray, by God, he did. The Arizona Cardinals just ponied up the dough for their franchise quarterback, giving him a 5-year contract extension worth over $230 million, including $160 million in guaranteed money. So if I think about that $160 million in guaranteed money, to me that's basically $40 million a year for the first 4 years of that extension. That's insane! And I say that's insane like it's my money or your money or our money. It certainly isn't. And it's all fugazi. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things for us. But that is a significant, sizable investment. And shame on us for not putting ourselves in a position from a career standpoint where we could either be like slightly above average in our jobs and get paid 40 plus million a damn year to do so. Like, you got to be a CEO to do that shit. So more power to these athletes living the CEO life. You could be just above average and be stinking rich for generations to come. But goddamn. I realize, like, the salary cap will probably increase in years to come, and, this contract won't look so onerous in terms of percentage of salary cap and so forth. But man, to me, this contract does not come without risk. I'm not saying it's a mistake. I'm not saying you're stupid for doing it. I understand the situation. I understand the environment. I understand the reality here. But damn, this feels awful risky. Because Kyler Murray's nice, and he's been there for 3 years now, so you got a good sense or vibe or feel for him. And you could say, like, he's put up decent numbers. I'd question, like, how much has he really developed the past 2 years under Kingsbury as a passer, but there's been some development. I just don't think it's been as much development as you need. But for a quarterback that had questions about whether he loved baseball or football more, and how much could you trust him as a 5'10 quarterback with the play style that he had, like, the Cardinals don't look terrible for that. But this is the type of contract that can potentially look bad. I have a little concern about Kyler Murray. The first couple of years, pretty durable. played pretty much every game, but last year he didn't. Last year he didn't. And even think the year before that, he had some injuries where he missed the last game of the season. Like, he didn't. You know, and I look at that and I say, like, for a guy of that size and that profile and that play style, like, could this start to become a bigger thing? But you also have to be careful not to overreact because it was just one injury that he missed a couple of games, so on and so forth. But this is also a guy who's never thrown for 4,000 yards passing. And this is a team that invested in him. Like, traded for DeAndre Hopkins, brought in an A.J. Green, who's on the wrong side of his career, mind you, but you get what I mean. Like, they have invested in supporting and helping a Kyler Murray. You know, and when you look at him, you look at the body of work and you say, okay, the playoff performance, he wasn't very good. Like, me personally, and I realized maybe the Cardinals felt like they had their hands tied here because he was going to sit there and start grumbling and it could be a potential problem. They're trying to cut it off at the pass versus maybe they're trying to avoid the risk of Kyler Murray goes out in 2022 and plays like an MVP candidate and then the contract's going to be 5 years, $250, $260 million. Better to take the risk and get it done now. Could be. But damn, that is a lot of money to invest in the dude. And, you know, basically you're saying the going rate for an above average starting quarterback in the NFL now is $40 million guaranteed a year. That's insane to me. It just is. But get that money, Kyler Murray. Get that money. But if you were the Arizona Cardinals, don't you have to take a look at this deal? And specifically, I'm referencing, you know where I'm going, with one of the stipulations that's reportedly in the contract and say, what are we doing here? Because if we have to put that in, is this a guy that we want to invest this much in? I mean, for Christ's sakes, they put in a stipulation in the contract that says that he is required to invest at least 4 hours a week during the season studying game film. They basically had to put a stipulation in the contract because either he's fucking off playing video games or doing a bunch of off-the-field stuff and not focusing on his job. The Cardinals as an organization were so concerned by this that they decided that they had to put that as a stipulation in the contract to say, young man, do your homework, and if you do, and you do it for enough weeks, we're going to resuscitate the goddamn Book It program. We've given you your book reports. It's the playbook. It's the game plan. You do it. Get your parents to sign off on it, and then by God, we're going to put stars on your button, and when you get enough, you can go get a personal band piece of our Pizza Hut. Is that what we're talking about here? You're talking about investing $160 million in guaranteed damn money and basically put him on the fucking Bucket Club. Hello, my name is Kyler, and I like to read today. Holy hell. Like, doesn't that make you feel like this is a bit risky? That you felt it was important enough to call that out as a stipulation in the contract? Like, maybe this isn't some other player's contracts, but I haven't heard of this. I haven't seen this. You guys can correct me if I'm totally off base here. But this feels like this was specifically targeted for Kyler Murray based off of specific behaviors that they feel and believe that Kyler Murray has demonstrated or not demonstrated. And when you were investing this much money into that dude to be the quarterback, you were trusting him to be the face of the franchise, the leader, the head mother effer in charge on the damn field. And by putting that type of stipulation in there, makes you question his work ethic. And if you're questioning your franchise quarterback's work ethic, just how much of a franchise quarterback is he? And if you question how much of a franchise quarterback is he, how much are you really inclined to give him a 5-year, $230 million contract with $160 million guaranteed? Yikes. Now, to be fair, Kyler's all of like 24, 25 years old, so he ain't even close to figuratively like entering the peak of his career. And for a team like the Cardinals who might say, hey, you know, Kyler has some flaws, but the alternatives might be much worse. That is absolutely true. And like I said, they might have felt like they were in the spot where they had no choice but to do this. But damn, if you got to put some, you better do your homework stipulations in the fucking contract, like to me that would raise some ding-ding red flags. That's all I'm saying. We'll see if the Cardinals live to love this contract extension for Kyler Murray or if they live to regret it. I just feel like right now, 3 years in, maybe there is some positive risk with doing it. There could be some potential payoff here, but it does feel really risky, especially when you look at that stipulation. Maybe that's just me. You guys let me know how you reacted to the news because, man, this above-average quarterback got paid That quarterback market is all types of fucked up now. It doesn't even matter how great you are. Basically, make it to where you can get a new deal, and you're going to be the top paid guy in the league for a couple months until the next guy passes you. Holy hell.